All right, so I think we had made it up to this point. So we wanted to see how to add the new courses, new subjects, and basically to see how to undertake the CRUD operations. That is create, read, update, and delete. So let me just start with the courses, and you can either click. So basically, clicking on this link will give us this view. Alternatively, if you just wanted to click on add directly to add a new course, then this was the button to use. All right. Alternatively, you can also use this button here. All right. So if you want to add a course, we see that a course needs to be associated with a certain subject. So we can add a subject first, or alternatively, we can use this button to add a new course. All right. So let me just utilize this button for now to add a new subject. So let me call this web dev and select a name for my subject. Let me move to desktop trading 20th Django static images. All right, so that should be okay. All right, okay, let me just select that course. Okay, it's not really a course. Let me go with the category 1. All right, then let me save that. So basically this will give us a list of a list of the subjects that we have. So yeah, I'm just going to select this, and again, just note the name that we are using here. We are going to improve on that. All right, then okay, okay, all right, I think I had selected this image. So let me now select the course image, course image 1. Let me select that. Then for the name, let me talk of web design. Then the price, let me talk about 100 or 1,000. Remember, we added something here to help the user or the administrator to be able to keep the price consistent. All right, so we assume that is in dollars. Then for the duration, this is the format in which we intend the duration to be in. So we can adjust that or just leave it as it is. All right, so let us just click on save. All right, and here we see that we are talking of course object 1. So should we add another entry, we'll get course object 2, 3, and so forth. So we want to improve this a little bit, and the way to do that, we just navigate back to our code here. All right, okay, so let's move to models, and there is a block of code that we do add, and in this case we are just going to add them on the two models. So let us start with what we have here. So we are talking about the courses. So first of all, let us do that on the courses so that at least we can appreciate what we have. So here we need to talk of so just take note of the indentation. So we are talking about define, then we have an str method. So this should return self dot. So just identify, for instance, we may want to have the name here, the name of a particular course. So in here, let us just make use of the course subject. Not really the course subject, there should be course name here. All right, then here I can just remove that directive, and I think that should resolve that challenge. So you basically identify what you want to identify your courses with, and in our case we selected the course name. So let me save that, navigate back here and reload. All right, and we see that it now has some sense. It now makes some sense. Otherwise, with the course object 1, object 2, that doesn't tell you much about the particular course that you may want to have a look at. All right, so let me see something else that we want to improve. Let me try to add a new course. So we have these names. These are not the best names that we can have. We can try to improve on this. Instead of just having, you see, when we were naming the model fields, we used a name like, for instance, we had course image. We used it as one name. So we may want to improve on this. Instead of just having it as one name, we have course space then image. All right. So we pass in another argument in these. For instance, let me talk of course subject. So let me talk of verbose name. Let me give it course subject. All right. Let me save. Reload again, and we see that we now have two words, so it's now readable. All right, so there is the argument to use of verbose name. We can do that to the image as well. So you basically have to input a comma if at all we have some other entries here, then have an equals. In the bracket you give the name that you want to appear on the admin page. So here we have course image. All right, let me move to this. This is the course name. Have course name, and just for your information, whatever we are doing, this name is only used to identify these entries here. So you not use the same name to refer to these fields, maybe when fetching the data or doing any other manipulation. So this is just meant to improve how they appear here. All right, so here we have the course price, and finally we have the course duration. All right, so let me save that, and if we reload, we see that at least they are now readable. All right. So the next thing, okay, we still have subject object one here, so we can do the same to the subjects. And what we do, we just pass in that block. So in here we can talk of subject name, right? Subject name. All right, so let's save that, come back, reload. It's taking time. Did we miss out on anything? STR itself, I think, should be okay. All right, so if we click on this drop down, at least we say that they are making some sense. So the next thing we want to control is how this model looks like. For instance, here we named our project subject. Let me see, we named it subject. Again, what we have here, the plural of that, Django has a way of making the class names plural by just adding an s. So we may also want to control that. So the way to do that, we define, let me show you. So the way to control that is that you define a class meta just below the model that you want to work with. So let's talk of class meta. Then we, okay, sorry. So it's class meta. Then pass in the okay, not that. I wanted to pass in the verbose name. All right. So this is where you define the singular form of that name. All right, or how you want it to be referred to in the singular form. So we may want to have subject, or rather just subjects as it is. Then we also need to define the plural form of that name, and the way to do that, we have a verbose name. Then in here we pass in plural, and the same way we can pass in the same name, subjects. All right, so let's save that. let us inspect. So we want to see if this s disappears. Let's reload. All right, and we see that it has taken shape. The other thing that we may want to do, okay, all right, so for the courses, I think courses looks good, but again, you can also control that by duplicating this code and defining how you want the courses to look like in the admin dashboard. So for you to see the effect of this singular name here, let me just add some triple S. Let us see where that applies. Subjects, come back here, reload. All right, so let me just click on subjects, and this is where the singular form of that name appears. So we are kind of controlling how the name appears here. And so we just remove the double S. All right, so let me see, I think should be, all right, so that is how it looks like. All right, so the other adjustment that I want us to make, okay, let me see the other adjustments. So let me just a new subject, let me talk of SEO, then here let me select category 2, let me save, sorry, so that was a subject. Let me also move to courses, add a new course. This new course will be at the SEO, select the image, let me select course 2, talk about SEO full course. We are going to charge 120. We're also going to have 8 hours here, then save. All right, so we see that we have to sorry, so we see we have already added 2 courses, and let me see, so for the courses we may want to view, instead of just viewing the course name, so should we want to view the price set for SEO full course? For now we can only view that by clicking on the full course, then access the edit mode of that course so that we are able to view the price. But then that does not give us the best user experience. We may want to view that by just accessing this page. That is the page that gives us a list of the courses. All right, so we are going to do some adjustment, and those adjustments are going to be done in the admin.py file. All right, so what we need to do here is that so we want to beautify our course dashboard. All right, so in here we define a class. All right, so this class we can name it course admin. So it's basically any name, but the conventional way of doing it, so use the model name and probably add admin to it to show that it's something that is happening in the admin. But again, you do not have a restriction of the name you are supposed to use here. The only restriction is probably not using the same name as we have here. All right, so just to be on the safer side, use the name of the model and add admin. All right. Right, okay. All right, welcome Celestine. All right, so in here we need to inherit admin, and that will give us admin site. All right, then okay, not admin site, sorry, I think should give us, let me see, model admin. That we should be talking of model admin, sorry for that. So in here we need to pass in a list display. All right, and again we have quite a number of options here. We are not going to look at all of them, but let me just look at list display. This is one that will suit our need for this case. So we introduce a list, and in this list we pass in the names of the column that we want to appear there. So for instance, we want to have the course name, so let me pass in this, and that should be into bracket, that is course name. Then we also have the course price, have the course price, and we can also pass in the course duration. Maybe not so necessary, but let us just pass it in and see how this behaves. All right, so after creating that class, this at this stage this does not work. This does not work. Even if you reload, that shouldn't work. If you probably created a class, reloaded, and it didn't work, ensure that you add it together, or rather you pass this class to the admin site. All right, so we are going to pass it together with the course. So we have course and course admin. So let's save that. All right, let's come back here, reload, and we see that for now we are able now to view the course name, the course price, and the duration as well. Right, so I think this is part of the assignment that we gave for you to be able to view some more columns. All right, then we may want, for instance, if we may want to be adjusting the price from this dashboard, so we can set that here, and we will talk of list editable. There is this entry here. So here in here we need to mention the field that we want to be able to edit from this view. All right, so we will pass in the cost price here, cost price. All right, let me save. All right, this should be a list. Let me put in a comma there to make it a list. Okay, the value of list editable refers to cost, which is not okay. All right, I don't think that should be there. The cost price starts with a lowercase. Let me save that. All right, I think that should work. All right, so for now, for us to be able to edit the price, you do not need to access the specific cost. So just select this cost price field against the cost that you want to adjust the price, and adjust the price accordingly, then click on save. All right, so there are quite a number of adjustments that you can do, and I think those are the necessary ones for now. All right, so for now we have been able to add. We are also able to read the data. If you want to adjust, probably okay, we have also been able to update. We have updated the price, because if we load this page, we see that we have the new price here. Then again, we can also to make more updates, you can click on that. Probably we want to adjust the time here. This should be 3 hours. Save. So basically most of the operations, all the operations, you can do them here. If also you want to delete, if you click on this, there is this delete button. All right, so you can make use of this. We don't want to delete that for now, but should you intend to delete that, you click on delete, and of course confirm that you are actually sure that you want to do away with that course. All right, so the next thing that we want to do is let me see. All right, so I think that's it for working with the admin dashboard. If you also want to delete the courses in bulk, so you can just select all of them. There is this button here, then talk of delete selected items and go. So that will delete all the items. All right, so the next thing will be fetching the courses and the subjects and displaying them on this courses page. All right, so there is another interesting section whereby we'll be fetching data from the database and then passing them to the template. All right, and just as a by the way, this is where we intend to add the download functionality of the data that we fetched in the mini project. So the intention was to have that option here, so that once you select all, just click on this drop down, there should be an option here to download the selected data. Once you select on that, click go, it should download a file to your local machine. All right, so all the best when achieving that. It's not so hard, just try to do some research here and there. All right, so we want to remove this static content here and populate this with data from the database. All right, so what we need to do, we need to navigate to the views. Remember, in the beginning of this course or the Django sessions, we mentioned that most of the processes will be defined in the views. That is, the processes that do interact with the database. Of course, we saw that the model, what happens in the model is that the definitions of the database schema are done here. But then, to maybe read the data, update the data, forget the fact that for now we have the admin dashboard where we are undertaking the CRUD operations of a database. If you have to do this from a custom page, then all those definitions will come in the views. So this is the same page whereby we are going to do all those adjustments. All right. So the key thing is to identify the view that is giving us this page. All right. So one, just have it in mind that you want to fetch the data. You want to fetch the courses data. You also want to fetch the subject data, then push that to the template. So identify the view that returns this page. So that view, we talk of this is the view that gives us that page. All right. So before we start typing in the commands that are used to fetch the data, we need to import the models here, right? And we are going to talk of from all models. We are going to import courses or other course. We also have subjects. All right. So with this, then we can be able to interact with the database. All right. Okay. So the way to do it, one, we want to fetch the courses, and unlike when working with SQL, so in SQL we would have talked of select all from courses or select name image from courses. But then when it comes to Django, we do not use SQL queries. So what we need to do, we want to call all the we want to fetch all the courses that we have. We also want to fetch all the subjects that we have. All right, so we will have all courses. So basically just give it a name, and of course a unique name that you are able to remember. Not really remember, you are able to relate what it actually represents. So once you do that, we want to call all the courses. So it's from course, we are going to talk of course dot objects dot all. All right, so that command is equivalent to just talking of select all from courses. All right, so if you don't know how to work or you haven't worked with SQL queries before, then you do not need to worry so much, but it would be good if you had some basics, so that at least you can be able to relate what happens in SQL and what is happening here in Django. All right, so if you want just to print what we have here, remember previously we talked of printing, and when you are using the Python console, we would just have added, or rather we would, in some cases we just use to type whatever variable that you have, but then this will not give us the output of the courses. So all we need to do, let me just talk of print. You basically have to print, then print whatever information you want to print on the console. All right, so we need to come back to this page, reload, that works, then come back here, and we see a query set. All right, so this comprises of the courses that we have already added to our database. All right, so then we also need to fetch all subjects. All right, So let me just call it all subjects. And the way to do that, we can simply talk of subject. Let me see, subjects dot objects dot all. All right. So again, this will give us a list of the subjects that we have uploaded already. All right. So we will be passing this information to our template, and there is something that I want us to appreciate, but I think we should just move on. Then we are going to come back here later. Okay. So having declared this data this way, we now need to pass it to the template. All right, we need to make the template get hold of these variables, which are holding the data that we have fetched from the database. So the way to do that, just in here, we can have a comma there, then add a dictionary. All right, and from the dictionary, this is where we're now going to define keys and attach the values to those keys. All right, so for now we can talk of maybe all subjects. So for now, whatever the variable that we are going to pass in to the template, let me just call it all subjects, and I hope this doesn't confuse anybody. So basically, this is just naming. You can use the same name as we have here, no harm. So let me use all courses. Let me also define all subjects. All right, so outside here you can have all subjects. All right, okay. All right, so we are going to still come back here and try to restructure. All courses. Okay, all right, so here I need to have all subjects. Okay, thank you for that. So I need to have all courses. All courses. All right, I think that should be okay for now. All right, so let's make some progress. So by doing this, we have already now passed this data to the template. Now we need now to go to the template and start processing that data, because having made our template aware that we have some data coming in, we need to instruct the template how to display that data. All right, so let me identify these are the subjects. So these are the subjects. So in this section where we have the subjects, you now have a simple task of identifying the repetitive block. All right, so for instance, this is where we are. So we need to identify the block that holds this card here. We have this one as well. So all these cards. So we need to identify that uniform block. All right. So let me just come here, identify the uniform block. For me, I think I just find it very easy. You also do that. So basically, if I check, there is this div with this class. If I check, it's the same as what we have here, the same as what we have here. So let me just collapse those divs one by one. So I have that as well. I also have that. I also have that. Okay, I also have that. I think this should be the last one. All right, still have some more. Okay, all right. So basically, these are the blocks of code that are giving us what we have here. All right. So what we do is that we delete, or rather, we just delete everything, all these blocks of code, and remain just one of the block. All right. So this is how to do it. Just delete that. Basically, this is static data, or rather static content. So we have deleted all these cards apart from one. So this one is not so unique. I would have deleted everything and probably remain with this one, because I know that the card has more or less the uniform code. It's only that the data that has been passed is the one that is different. All right. So if I think I saved this, let me save. Come here, reload. All right. So I have one. Okay. So using this block of code, this is the one that we are going to route our data through, and it will replicate depending with the with the data that is coming from the database. Right? All right, so let's proceed. So what we need to do, we now need to talk about loops, and the loop that we are going to talk about here is a for loop. All right, so if you install the Django extensions, then you should be getting these options. If you are not getting these options, I forgot to remind you to tell you that you need to adjust the template engine that is being used. So if at all you start typing in some Django content here, for instance I type 4, and you do not get these options, then just down here there is select language mode. So you just need to come here and check Django. So there is this Django HTML. That is the current one that I'm using. But then if yours is just HTML, probably this one, that's probably the reason you're not able to get those auto completion. So ensure you have Django HTML here. Otherwise, if you don't, you'll be required to type in everything from scratch. All right. So for the auto completion, ensure you have this. All right. So we are going to work with a for loop, and this for loop, just like we had for I in a list, print I. Hope you guys remember. So here we are going to loop through the subjects, and the variable name that has been passed for the subject, we have all subjects. So this is the variable name, or the variable that has our data. So I can talk of all subjects in all subjects. By the way, you're not restricted in what to use here. You can decide to use I, the one that we are used to. But again, to just make your code readable and able to understand by the developer who will be managing your code, just do some justice by having something that they are able to understand. All right, so we are going to enclose this CRUD, this block of code, with this for loop. So let me move this n4 at the end of this block. All right, so even if I was just to save this and try to reload our page, we should get 2, because we only have 2 subjects in our DB, and if we had a third one, it would have given us a third one. All right, so we now want to get the image, the name, and the number of courses related to this particular subject here. All right, so let's come here, and we are going to expand this. So we have this image part here. All right, so we need to delete this part. Remember, this is a static image, or rather it's an image that is being fetched locally. All right, so let's delete that, and we'll be talking of so introduce those double curly brackets, and we are going to use this name here, all subject. So the I will be referring it to I interchangeably, so that at least we can be able to relate it with the for loops that we use in Python. So this particular one, the I that we have here, the one that we are going to call here subject dot, then we need to mention the name of that image, and from the DB the name given is subject image. All right, so pass in subject image here. All right, and for images you will need to add .url. all right, so that this will give us the absolute path to that image. All right, so the next thing is the name of that course. So let me just come here, select that. So we need to use the double curly brackets, then refer to all subject dot, I think we should have subject name, if I'm not wrong. Let me just confirm. We have subject name in lowercase, this one is in lowercase. All right, so let me save this for now and see how things are. All right, we are not able to see the either the image or even the subject name. All right, so there is something we missed out. There is something we missed out, and we are going to talk about it shortly. That is when setting up okay, sorry, just a moment, guys. Let me just okay, all right, let's proceed. I'll pick the call later. All right, so I was saying there is something we missed out when setting up the way the static files should behave, or where they need to be fetched. It wasn't actually missing it out, but I left out those lines of code intentionally, so that at least when we get that challenge, we can now feed in those lines of code to see how to resolve such an issue should it occur when you are doing it alone. All right, so for now, let me just remove this image and see if okay, let me just remove that. See if we are able to fetch the subject name. Let me see if we are able to fetch the subject name. Okay, just a moment. All right, just a moment. I think somebody wants to join the training. All right, so I think okay, I'm back. So I have removed the image, so let's see how it behaves. The image is still there. Okay, or rather, let me remove that tag for it. Try to reload. Okay, we are still not able to fetch the subject name as well. So let me check on where we are missing it out before we start working on the images. So let me come here, subject name. Could I have missed on anything here? Okay, or subject. Okay, all right. So let us see if we get it right. Okay, all right. Okay. Okay, what I want to do is that let me pass this one in here. Let us see how it behaves as well. All right, so we see that okay, I believe probably the styling that has been used here is that this particular name should be displayed on the image. So if at all the image is not there, that's why we are not able to see the subject name as well. So it's the high time we work on the images, and these are the media files that we were talking about. All right. So remember, for the purposes of SEO, you need to at least pass something to this alt tag, and to use a dynamic name, then you can pass in the subject name, so that we can be seeing the subject name as we are seeing here should we miss out on the image, because something may happen to the server and the image fails to work. All right, so I'll be sharing with you some lines of code that we are going to add. So the adjustment that I want us to make is that we will be making adjustment in the urls.py file. All right. So should you find yourself in a scenario whereby you have created your forms to submit some media files to the DB, then on fetching them you are not able to get them, just ensure that you have these lines of code. So let me just share it out. All right, so I'll be sharing those lines with you. Okay, so all we need to do is that we are going to make some adjustments here. So let me just paste everything here. Okay, all right, so let me show you. So this is the code that we had previously, and we just pasted in few lines of code. So let me just comment out this. So basically we just need to pay attention on our application. So let us just comment out everything we have here, and we are going to highlight the new lines of code that we have added. So we added something here, repath, it wasn't there. We also imported settings, it wasn't there. Also static wasn't there, and there is also this other one, serve, which wasn't there. All right, so then down here, okay, I'll remove this one for now. It's not part of what we're doing. All right, somebody wants to join us. Okay, all right, welcome. All right, so we are reviewing on the new lines of code that we have added here. Again, we have added these two lines here, repath. Just have a look at what they have, and we have also added these two more lines down here. So that update is meant to resolve the issue of media files not loading, right? And media files for this case are basically the files that we uploaded from the server through either the admin dashboard or from a form. Forget about the static files that we have been working with. For now, we are talking about media files. Again, I also gave a hint that you may host your web application as it was, and the static file might stop working on the online server. All right, so this is the line that will take care of that, and this one as well. All right, so let's save this as well. Let me also save this one. Then back to this page, let me reload. We still don't get it right. So in here for the image, okay, sorry, this should be subject image, not subject name. Sorry for that confusion. Subject image, and again for the image we said we need to use .url. all right, so back here, reload. All right, and we see that we have been able to fetch the images of the subject that we uploaded. So remember, the few lines of code that we added here are to enable your media files and static files to work. And for the static file, this mostly happens when you deploy your application. If you don't have these in place, you may not, the static file may stop working. And also we have seen the media files issue has also been resolved. All right, so for now we are not able to take account of the courses. We are going to look at how to take account of the courses that we have. But for now, at least we are able to fetch the subjects. All right, something else that we need to review. Let me close that for now. I don't need it. Okay, so assuming we don't have a course, assuming for some reason we do not have a course, and maybe I can make that error by just trying to talk of instead of all subjects, let me just make a mistake and call it add a D there, then save. Then in here, let me just come in and reload. So we see that we have a white screen. So this basically means that we do not have data to display. So if, for instance, your page was blank, you would think that something somewhere is wrong, something is not working. So we at least need to tell our users that we do not have subjects at the moment. Maybe you can come in later, right? So the way to do that, okay, that was intentional. So the way to do that, we first of all need to check if all subjects that we passed in has data in it. If at all it has data, then proceed and display the data. If you do not have data, then just be kind enough to tell your website visitor that we do not have data at the moment, please check in later, or you can contact us. All right, so don't keep your website users thinking that something is wrong or something is not working by just rating your page to display empty pages. So let us take care of that. So we use an if statement. We use an if check, if else, to check if it has data. So we are going to do this. So we are going to talk of if and talk of these if else. All right. So we want to check if all subjects. So basically, if this one returns true, and it will only return true if all subjects has data in it. We are going to make a mock of it to push it through without data. So if this one returns true, then proceed and do what we have done with the for loop. Otherwise, so I hope you have seen where I've added it. All right. Otherwise come in here, pass in a paragraph saying we do. Okay, I think somebody somewhere wants to. Somebody was raising their hand or something. Okay. Let me stop sharing then. Okay, let me reshare it again. Okay. All right. Please confirm that you're now able to see me navigate through my screens. Okay. Sorry about that. Wow. Okay, how about the other guys? Please confirm you're able to see my screen. How about the others? Are you able to see my screen, guys? Are you able to see me navigate through my screens here? Okay, perfect. Maybe Mike, you can try to probably drop and rejoin again. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So let's move on as Mike resolves that. So we wanted to be kind enough to our website visitors and tell them that we do not have any subjects at the moment. Probably you can check in later. No subjects. Okay, subjects at the moment. All right, so we have that, and I want to make a mock of this. So for now, if we go back to our page, come here, reload, we see that we are able to see that. So what if we just came back here and let me come to the views. I want to disturb all courses instead of having this. Let me comment it out, have this, delete that, and let me pass in an empty list. All right, rather let me just talk of none. So this one should return false in our template. So we expect to get some message here. Oh, you're not getting any message? Okay, I think I talked of courses and not subjects. Sorry for that. Okay. So I need to comment that out, equals none. All right, so let me do that. Save, reload. All right, and at least we are now fair enough. So your website user may not think that something is not working, and at least they have a message to account for them not being able to see the list of subjects that you have. All right, so just ensure to do a check. This is not really an error. You're just taking care of the emotions of your website visitors, because you don't want them to go saying that your website is down or returns white screen. Just do a check. If that passes, then proceed to display the content. Otherwise, do this. All right, so the next section the next section I want us to move to. So let me undo this. All right, so that's okay. So the next section I want us to move to is we have we have our popular courses. We have this section here, and the thing is to identify the block of code that returns this card, right? So we have around 6 cards here, so we need to collapse all of them, delete, and just remain with one of the cards. All right, so let me just minimize this. All right, so as I said, the goal is to identify the card that holds that data, and I think this seems like all right, I think this is what we are looking for. So let me just collapse this. Let me collapse this, collapse this, collapse this, collapse this. So basically what we are doing is very easy when you watch, but it's good for you to to try and identify the repetitive block, so that at least you can be able to appreciate what is happening. All right, so as we said, just delete everything, just remain with one of the blocks, and it's also good to be cautious because you might end up deleting probably the div that crosses this section. So if that happens, you might end up with a disoriented page. Maybe some of the cards may not be well aligned. All right, so again we want to do a check. Previously we started without doing a check, but at least for now we appreciate the work of trying to check if there is data that we are passing over. All right, so we check if, we do an if else check, and we want to check if so for now we are talking about subjects. Is it subjects or courses? Why am I confusing these two? All right, that should be courses, not subject. All right, for okay, sorry. So there is the name that we all courses. So there is the name that we passed over to our template. So let me do that here. So we are going to check if it has something. All right, if it has, proceed to loop through that section. Otherwise, just come here, talk of no courses at the moment. All right, then sorry, I think I moved too fast there. Okay, now there. All right, so we have done a check. So if this returns true, then proceed to loop through all the courses and display them. Otherwise, just talk of there being no course at the moment. All right, so I'll now expand this, but for now, before I expand, then I can do a for loop here. So that should be all. Let me just talk of all course in courses. All right, just trying to use the singular of the variable that we passed in. Sorry. So again, I just need to copy the end for and pass it over to the end of that div. All right, then I can peacefully expand that. So in here we need to edit the data that is coming from the database. So for the students, we said we are not going to touch on that. So we have this is the duration. So as we have illustrated, the way to do that is that you pass in the two curly brackets. Then there is this I that we have used here for I in. So all course dot I think that should be course duration. Let me just check on the name. All right, course duration. We have course duration in there. Then here we are going to pass in the course name. All right, so the double curly brackets, open and close. Then we have that. Then talk about course. This would be the course name. All right, so let's just save that and see if we are getting somewhere. So reload. All right, I think okay, I think we have it in place. So the next thing is to talk of the price. So we have this price here. So we pass in that, then we have dot, we have cost price. All right, and remember we said that we are not going to store the dollar sign to our database, so this you just pass it in here, if at all it's dollar, whichever currency that you want to be working with. All right, then let me see, then for the source, remember we haven't passed in the image yet, so just pass in the double quotations, then pass in all costs. This is our I dot cost image dot, remember the URL. Then for SEO purposes, if you haven't covered any course on SEO, just take a basic course, you'll be able to appreciate the work of this. But on an overview, I said if at all this image does not load, whatever you have added in the alt tag is the one that will be displayed to the user. So it's very important that you do not leave it blank. All right, sorry, just a moment, let me invite okay, all right, welcome. All right, so so we have all costs dot, so in this case let us just use the course name. All right, so I think everything else looks good. Let us save that, then let's come here and reload. So we see that we are getting a different image. I think these are the images that we uploaded. Then we see the timer has been included there, the course name is there, and also the pricing. All right, another thing, maybe I would have missed out on this if at all I used probably something less than 1,000. So we may want to do what? For instance, this 1,000, we may want to display it in a way that maybe you have 1 comma then the 2 zeros. The same way with 12 these 1,200. All right, so let me just mention something. We have an inbuilt Django application called Humanize. Let's see how to use that. Django humanize. All right, so basically that is the one that will help us achieve that feature, whereby we have 1 comma 1,000. That is if at all whatever figure that we have here has crossed the 1,000 line. All right, so let's see what Humanize has. Let's see how to. All right, let me see the usage. Okay, all right. Okay, do we have an example somewhere? Okay, let me see if I can remember it offhand. Let me see. Sometimes we may remember that. Road Humanize, do you have something like that? Road Humanize. I think we also need to add something to our application here. Okay, let me see if I'm able to remember that. Django Humanize. We talk of Django Humanize. All right, let's just check if at all we are able. Let me first of all save that. Okay, we see that it's not module not found. Let me talk of Django Humanize. Save. Are you able to get it right? No. Django Humanize. All right, so let me just check on what to use. Django Humanize library. Okay, something I need to pass to the settings. All right, okay, I think I've seen it somewhere. Okay, so this is what I need to pass in to the installed app section. Sorry for that, it has been a while since I used it. All right, so once we pass in that, then we okay, all right, it has loaded successfully. Then we need to come to where the price is. Then what we need to pass in is that we need to pass in that filter. Then we have something we can add int comma. All right, let's try. Maybe we can go back and try to elaborate that. Okay, perfect. All right, so I hope you saw previously that what we had here, the price was 1000, and it was just, as it is, 1000 without the comma. So we may want now to add a functionality whereby if the price crosses the mark of 1000, then we automatically get such 1 comma then the 3 zeros and something like this. So the way to do it, you need to move to the settings.py file, and under installed apps you pass in this inbuilt application for Django, that is django.contrib.humanize. all right. So once you pass in that, then you need to move into the course, or whichever template that you want to display the numbers accordingly. So just passing this tag here, just wrote humanize. all right. So once you humanize, then move to where the price is. After calling the price as we had previously done, then have just passing this, then pass in int comma, and it will do the rest for you. So if at all, for instance, let us try and edit the price of this course from 1000 to maybe something less than that. For instance, let me just have it at 800. all right, let me have it at 800. Come back here, reload, and we see that the value is as it is. So basically, once the value crosses the mark of 1000, then that's where we get, or rather that's when we have the comma added. all right, so we are still moving on. We are going to move to this section and try to get the number of courses. So up to this point, is there anyone with a question? Anyone with a question up to that point? All right, so yes, Hezron. Okay, so we have a number of scenarios, and I think we can refer to this documentation, which has quite a number of things that we can use. all right, okay, I actually had not seen this before I started suffering trying to get that. all right, so this is the documentation, and we are seeing that for instance, let me see. So we can pass in app number to, instead of having the number, we have the name. all right, I think we can try. Let's give it a trial. Let me see if it's able to give us that. So we have the pipe, we have app number. Let me see if we are able to get that. Oh, all right, let me reduce that figure to probably 8. Let me see if it's able to work with small numbers. So let me save that. all right, so we see that it's able to convert, I think, small numbers probably to a value less than 10. You can pass in okay, all right, doesn't, okay, for numbers 1 to 9. So these are for numbers 1 to 9. Then the int comma, this is what we have consumed. We have int word. all right, so this translates as a singular, so works best for numbers over 1 million. all right, let's make test this. Let us adjust this to something like 8 million or whatever. We have more than 8 million there. Then let's move here, try to add that, the pipe int word. Then let me reload here. all right, so we see that we have quite a number of ways that we can use that. Natural day. all right, we have natural time. okay, we basically have quite a number of uses, so it's for you to just try and play around with whatever we have for humanize. And I think we have just identified that we have everything included here. What I was just trying to explain, that you just need to add this right in your installed apps. Once you do that in your template, you need to load this road humanize, then it's from that point that you can now make use of whichever tag that you want to make use of. All right, Hezron. Okay, perfect. All right, so let me make our course a little bit affordable. We don't want to chase potential students. I don't want to chase them away. All right, so let me return my int comma here. Sorry. All right, so I just want us to mention one concept, and that concept is on so we want to see, like, we have this subject category here, so we want to see the number of courses. All right, the number of courses that have this subject. So I think in our case we just used 1. All right, so this should show us 1. This one as well should show us 1, and we'll probably add a new one. Let me just add a new subject. Let me add a new subject here. Let me call it Python. Let me just call it Python. Then okay, category 3. Then let me just save. All right, so we'll come here, we get it there, right? So we'll be trying now to get the count of the courses that are related to this subject. All right, okay, all right, so we are going to make of something else. Let me just close this for now, we don't need them. All right, so back to our views. All right, so I would want us to simplify this a little, seeing that if we have other items to pass into this dictionary, we are going to put commas until probably our line disappears. So we do not want to do that. All we need to do is to kind of factor it out. So we can define a variable called context, and context should contain this dictionary. All right, so this doesn't change the functionality, doesn't change much, it only factors out what we have here. So instead of now passing in this dictionary here, we pass in the context, and it's basically any name. Context is not a very special name that we used here, that is related to any of these models that we have. So all right, so that is it, and everything should still work as expected, right? So you don't need to change anything here. That was just to factor out that. So okay, so the next thing is that we want to count the number of courses related to each and every subject. All right, and the way to do it, we are going to come here at all subjects. This is where we need to adjust. So let me just comment this one out. This is what we had previously. Then call all subjects here, all subjects, and we are going to talk of so this is now we are going to create some kind of binding relationship, that instead of just returning all the subjects, so it will return the subjects alongside the number of courses attached to those subjects. So let me just show you how to do that. So we have subjects dot objects. So we have a method called annotate, and what we are going to define a variable that will hold this number, the number that we are looking for, the number of courses. All right, so here we can talk of course count, course number. So let me just talk of course count. All right, we want to count the number of courses, and we are going to do that from models, and we need to import that from models. We have a method called count. Let me see. So again, sometimes you may remember what you want to have here, but you don't know from where to import it from. So in VS Code, you can also confirm with the other code editors. You can just hover there, try to click on quick fix. Sometimes if you see the suggestions, then maybe you can be able to tell which of the suggested is correct. So I don't think it's part of what we have here, so we're just going to import it, and we are just going to get it from Django, from django.db. We are going to import models. All right, so it's this particular model that we are talking about now. So from model we have a method called count. All right, we have a method called count, and what are we counting? We are counting, let me show you. We are counting, so remember there is this name that we gave here. I'm not sure if we remember. We said that this one did not add any functionality to our model, but we said let us just define it and we will see where that name comes in. All right, so this is the time to use it. So we are going to make use of this name here, and we are going to pass it in there. All right, so what this command does is that it will fetch all subjects, which we had previously done here, and this all subject object will now come along with the number of courses associated with each and every subject. All right, so using this course count, let's go back to course, then try to get hold of that either the p tag or the a tag that has that count. So we have a span here that is giving us that number. So it's in here that we need to display the count. All right, so okay, so what we need to do, we need to have the double curly brackets. Then we have been working with all subject dot, then we have this name that we have just given, we have just assigned here. So this is what we are going to use, course count. All right, so let me see. Then to make our life easier, let us just use S in brackets. All right, so let me just reload and see if we are getting it right. So 1 courses, and 0 courses. So remember, we said that we cannot be able to store this record in our DB, because the more you add the courses, the more these values should increase or decrease when you delete. So we are fetching it. We are basically counting the number of courses that we fetch from the DB. So basically that's the relationship that we can use there to achieve that. All right, so let me see if there is anything else that we can cover in this area. Okay, all right. All right, I think it's not a bad one. It's a good one for now. It's a good one for now, unless anyone has a question in this. All right, unless anyone has a question pertaining what we have covered. So basically there is nothing much in this area, at least. So what I wanted you to take home, maybe a take home for today's session, at least we have seen how to design a database. Maybe this time we had a template and we looked at that template and we were able to know what to include in our models. So again, if you are given a task, maybe you are not given the front-end template like we had. So somebody just tells you that they want something like the one that we did today. They want a system that will be helping them to register users. You know, they just want to correct some user data. So it's for you to get some stories from them. It's for them to tell you that I want to correct this, that, and that data, and I want you to do this and that with that data. So it's from that you are able to tell how to design your database and deliver whatever they want you to deliver. So a take home of this assignment was a take home for today's session was how to display data to the templates. So we have fetched data from the models and displayed that to the user. We have also made our admin page a little bit beautiful. I think we have added some functionalities here, so just take note of that. And maybe as part of your assignment, as you'll be practicing along this line, so these items we have added them from the admin dashboard. So think of a scenario whereby you can add this from this other end as a user, right? So just create a form that that captures this. So don't stress yourself so much. Try to do it in an easy way. Use what we have already run, but I know we haven't yet covered how to submit data. That's okay, that's understood. But then you can try to search for this information online. It's not part of what we are supposed to cover, but it will give you some insights. It will open your eyes, show you some new concept that we will not probably be covering in this training session. So just try it out and see how it goes. All right.